Okay, we're going to do something I normally don't do, but it's called a side note. On the side note of this video, which is what did I watch on TV tonight, because I did not cover that. Of course, the St. Louis Cardinal game, and I was starting to feel so defeated and going, oh, we're just going to lose this. And just at that exact moment when I had started focusing more on housework, I can hear Grandpa from the front room going, Donna, you ain't going to believe this. Get in here. And I came in there, and not only did my man, number 46, Paul Goldsmith, move ahead and get a home run because of Arenado, but Arenado also caused himself a home run. Thank you, St. Louis Cardinals, for giving me a great evening and showing me that sometimes the impossible is possible in itself. Then I turned over to the Hallmark movie, which I wish I would have seen from the very beginning. It was an outstanding movie, and I only got to see it halfway through, and I really want that on DVD. And Lauren Elena and Tyler Hines, if you watch this, first I want to speak right to Lauren Elena. You're one of my favorite singers anyway. But for you that to be your very first, well, your second movie, but your first Hallmark movie, out of the Hallmark gate, so to speak, I thought you did outstanding. And I think that you would be great in their movies going forward. So congratulations on that. And of course the singing, when you did that Keith Whitley song, When You Say Nothing at All in Summer, you're going, Allison, I can't think of her last name, but she sang it. No, there was Keith Whitley before anybody else, and you better Google that, because Keith Whitley is the ultimate, and I wish he was still amongst us today. Anyway, you did great, Lauren Elena, and Tyler Hines is one of my top Hallmark hunks, so I just wish I would have seen the whole movie. Now, back to the book. Harlequin Desire. This is a Dynasties series. The author is a USA Today bestseller, Jules Bennett, and the name of the book is called Fake Engagement, Nashville Style. Now, this one came out in the July 2021, and Sonic's here trying to help me turn the pages. Okay, I want to start at page 168, read 169, 170, 171, and 172 with you. Luke stared at Cassandra, sleeping with her sheet wrapped all around her. Her dark shoulders was one shapely leg very exposed, where her black hair was a disarray on the stark white pillowcase. His gut tightened. This was the only woman who could make him second-guess everything in his life. She made him wonder why he let her walk away so long ago. She made him question how the heck he hadn't been on the same page back then, when all she wanted was to be his wife. Why hadn't he gone after her when she left? Why hadn't he just told her to give him time? Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was that he had been afraid that making a commitment meant losing a part of himself. So here they were. His mother was convinced that this was the second chance he and Cassandra deserved. Luke wasn't so sure about that. He wasn't so sure this was much more than a fling, but he had feelings. And these feelings had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the past, and everything to do with the woman who was lying so peacefully and beautifully before him. Maybe his pride was standing in the way, and even today, Luke wasn't ready to risk asking her to stay, to see if they could maybe try again, putting his heart, that's not important, on the line like that wasn't smart when he was likely just getting too caught up in all the wedding nonsense. Between Will and Hannah's wedding and Cash and Presley's engagement, was it any wonder that he was getting confused while playing pretend with his ex? But the intimacy they shared with Cassandra was just not pretend. The post on social media, the affection in public, those were all for show. There was so much that wasn't for anyone else, though. All of this behind the scenes was strictly for them. Luke's eyes drifted to the ring on her hand, and that did nothing to calm his nerves or ease his mind. He known that ring would look stunning on her hand. He known that she would love it, because Cassandra had always been more of a romantic than someone who went for the bling and the flash. The pearl was absolutely the perfect choice for her. Yet she already told him that she'd be giving it back. He wanted her to keep it. He just wanted her to have it, since it was that moment that it brought 8 years ago. Maybe it had been naive and pathetic of him to hold on to that. Oh, he hadn't kept the ring because he thought she'd come back. No. He kept that piece locked in the safe just so that every time he opened it, he would have that reminder of all that he lost and all that he sacrificed to have what he did today. Luke pulled in a shaky breath and turned from the room. Seriously? It was early and he knew she had a full schedule ahead. The wedding was only a few days away and Cassandra would be up to her ears in flowers, seating charts, catering questions, and rehearsals. He went to the kitchen and started up the coffee maker. After searching through the cabinets, he found 2 mugs. He pulled his cell from his jeans and then sent a text and ordered breakfast to be sent up ASAP. While awaiting the coffee, he glanced around the penthouse and spotted the piano. A glass of unfinished wine sat atop, and he figured he interrupted her last night. He wanted to hear her play again. She had that knack for music, just like Cash and Will. Luke and Gavin hadn't gotten that talent, but they did love music, so they entered the industry in a different manner. Luke went to retrieve the glass and got it washed and put away just as the coffee finished brewing. He poured a mug for himself and took a sip. That first taste of hot caffeine in the morning always did wonders for his soul. Spending the night in Cassandra's bed also did wonders, too. He wanted to stay here again tonight and every other night until she left. No, he wanted her in his bed or on his turf. He wanted to see how well she fit in. Wait, that would be a mistake. Taking her home, seeing her in his house would not be smart because when she ultimately left, as he knew she would, he would still have those reminders in in every room. Maybe he could convince her to let him stay here until she left. He wouldn't mind being closer to the Cheshire. He had to pop in to his other establishments today and do some inventory and payroll, but he mainly could be found at his favorite rooftop bar. He had no idea what the heck he truly wanted when it came to Cass. Every scenario scared him to death, but he knew he wasn't ready to let her go. Luke grabbed his mug and went back to the piano. He slid onto the bench, and took another sip and stared down at the keys. He makes coffee and plays piano. Luke glanced over his shoulder to see Cassandra, who was leaning against the doorway coming from the hall. She put that sulky robe back on, and he knew dang well she had nothing on underneath. I'll take the credit for the coffee, but I'm terrible with the instrument. She padded barefoot across the marble floor and slid onto the bench next to him. He wanted to scoop her up and take her right back to bed, but they weren't at that point in this relationship. Heck, they weren't even in a relationship. They had great boom-boom between them and a fake engagement. They hadn't made things work the first time, and they were together because he hadn't been ready for more. Was he now ready for more? Could he give her everything he wanted and not lose a part of who he was? I'm going to leave you wondering, but I'm going to read you the back of this book. So yeah, I should have done that to begin with, but that way it'll hopefully wet your whistle, and then I'll read the note from the author like I always do, and I'll give you the rating. Saying yes should be strictly business, since it's only pretend, not a second chance. Cassandra Taylor's ex-fiancé owes her big time. Luke Sutherland shattered her dreams of happily ever after, and now she wants his help landing the wedding planning event of the year, his brother's celebrity nuptials, but Luke demands her help in return. Pretend to be in love with him, so he's no longer country's beats most eligible bachelor. As their fake engagement rekindles real passion, will Cassie get her own fairy tale wedding, or only one more heartbreak? A Dynasties novel where you can visit the Beaumont Bay where Nashville stars come to play. Okay, here is the note from the author. Dear reader, I hope you are loving the Dynasties Beaumont Bay series. Jessica and I had such a fun time bringing this town and the characters to life. Up next is Luke and Cassandra, 2 Sutherland brothers down to go. Luke had his heart broken once, but he mended those pieces perfectly fine and had hardly a crack to show for it, until Cassandra steps into his bar and needs a favor. When one favor snowballs into a fake engagement, these 2 lovers pick up right back up where they left off years ago. Reunion stories are one of my absolute favorites to write. I love that the instant bond the hero and heroine already have, and I love that instant attraction and chemistry. Throw in a misunderstanding and some obstacles. Ah, yes, that is what gives me life in a reunion romance. I hope you all enjoy Luke and Cassandra's story and continue to read along in the Beaumont Bay series. Happy reading, Jules. Jules Bennett, I'm giving this book a 20. That puts you on my must read. And the reason I fell in love with this book so much was, as you said, reunion stories. They're wonderful to read about. They're wonderful to see on Hallmark movies. But rarely do we get to experience them in real life. There's those chances, but it takes a lot to forgive and forget. Or forgive, but you just don't forget what was done to you. Sometimes in life, when we mess things up so badly, we can always go on hoping and praying, but rarely ever getting what we read about in these books or experiencing in a movie. For those who achieve such a great feat, God bless you. You give us strength to carry on, and knowing that good things like that sometimes does happen. Love sometimes can conquer all, but not always. Thank you for tuning in.